we interpret as reality is based on how we view reality. If you ever meditate deeply enough, you can come out of your body and travel, and you realize in that moment that when you leave your body, your consciousness, and nothing is physical whatsoever. But when you're here in these physical vessels, it really does seem physical. I'll tell you how I know for sure that we're living in a holographic reality. So is there a creator of this universe? Is there something or someone that created all that is? If you ask me that question, my answer is yes. This God, this intelligence, isn't some man or woman or extraterrestrial. It's a consciousness. It's some kind of force that is this all-seeing, all-knowing consciousness that flows through absolutely everything. And out from this source, everything came. If you look at the world that we're living in now, we're living in some kind of holographic reality, but not just the world, the galaxy, the universe, the multiverse at large. You know, we live in multiple super universes, and within those super universes, there are multiple dimensional spaces. And whilst we walk around this world and everything looks physical, you're looking through a phone or a computer right now, looking at me, talking to you, sat in a chair in a house with furniture and stuff. And it all looks pretty solid and it all feels pretty solid. But we know that space is predominantly what makes up everything. Energy is 99.99999% space. And if you were to take the space out of all human beings, you can actually get whatever's left over into the size of a sugar cube. And there are 8 to 9 billion humans on this planet. That's, for me, is crazy to think that. I mean, how could I squash even me into the size of a sugar cube? Because if you were to get some kind of machinery and smash me up into a pulp, I still wouldn't fit in the size of a sugar cube. If you were to put a steamroller over me and flatten me out and get all of the juices and all of the bits of mush that were left over, there's no way you're going to get it into some kind of container the size of a sugar cube. It's nuts. But if you were to take the space out of me and the space out of everyone else, you would do. Now, this goes to show that what we're living in is some kind of perception. You know, what we interpret as reality is based on how we view reality. If you ever meditate deeply enough, you can come out of your body and travel, and you realize in that moment that when you leave your body, your consciousness, and nothing is physical. But when you're here in these physical vessels, it really does seem physical. I'll tell you how I know for sure that we're living in a holographic reality and that we are living in some kind of field of reality that has a creator. Because we heal people, or we facilitate the healing of other human beings through the frequency we call star magic. And we know that other human beings are biological computers. The body and the brain is a biological computer. And that biological computer is always downloading information from the field. And if someone has some particular injury, illness, or disease, we know that there was a traumatic event that happened at some point in that soul's experience, whether it was in this physical reality through their childhood, teenagers, 20s, 30s, whatever, or it might have happened in a past life or a future life. Once you get into the quantum field, none of that matters, because everything is now in the field. There is no past and future, there's just a now moment. Everything is present. If someone has some kind of ailment in their liver, we know there's guilt stuff and there's anger stuff going on, because every single body part means something. We know if someone has an issue with the back of their neck or their neck in general, it's going to be to do with rigidity and stubbornness. We know if someone has an eye problem in the left eye, it's to do with their feminine ancestral line. The right eye is the masculine ancestral line. Every body part means something. Now, for me, or one of the facilitators that I've trained to go out into the field and remedy and facilitate the healing of another human being, what they need to do is to find the trauma in the field, the information stream that is plugged into the biological computer, and change it and shift it. And if they do that, the physical symptom on the front end, i.e. inside the physical body, shifts, heals, transforms, disappears. Whether it's someone's hearing coming back, whether tumors are disappearing, whether it's a bad knee that's being healed, whether someone's spine is being straightened. And yes, all of this is possible. If you go to our website, starmagichealing.org, go to the proof page, you're going to see loads of testimonials with all of this stuff and more. How do we do this? By becoming quantum architects, holographic architects, and changing the reality field in the quantum, which creates a physical, verifiable manifestation pretty much immediately, sometimes over the course of days or weeks. I'll give you an example, right? I had a lady when I was in New York a few years ago, and she had chronic pain in her shoulders, down the left-hand side of her body, through her spine, hips, and she was in debilitating pain, real pain, and she'd been like it for a long time. And I started opening up a line of inquiry as to where this came from. You know, one thing that we share with everyone is ask good questions and you get good answers. So by asking good questions, you can extract information from the field. And I found out that she had a son that she'd lost. I wasn't exactly sure how she lost him, so I asked, and she told me he committed suicide from drugs 15, 20 years ago. And that since then she'd been in all of this pain. And I realized that she was in this pain because she felt guilty. She felt guilty that she couldn't save him, rescue him, stop him committing suicide. So what I did is I went into the field and I created a reality. I created a reality that didn't exist. But I chose to see this reality as truth. And when I shared this with the lady that I was working on, I told her that it was truth. And as far as what I told her was that in a past life, her and her son were both men and at war together. And the soul of her son was her comrade in battle. And he died. She wasn't able to save him. Same thing that had happened in this lifetime. So I told her that what had happened is she had another opportunity in this life to save this soul again. Obviously she didn't, and she felt even more guilt, even more anger, even more trauma, even more frustration, even more pain. So in the reality that I told her that I was visualizing, I rewound the timeline in this reality that I'd created. Obviously this is a hologram, this is something I'm creating in my mind, a visual construct, but it was infused with my emotion and her emotion, because that's the way I quantumly entangled it and made it. So I rewound the timeline to before they went to war, and I explained to the man in that reality, which was the soul of the lady that I was working on, don't go to war, because if you do, this man next to you is going to die. So they made a different decision and they decided not to go to war. So before the soldiers came, they left on their horses. They left the village. So I then saw all of this reality that I was explaining to the lady I was working on all along. So she was brought into this and entangled with this emotionally. So her biological computer was entangling itself with this reality field. So what I did is I got this new reality that I'd created where they rode off on horseback and there was no war. There was no situation where the man had been stabbed and died in front of the soul that was in the man that I was working on. So it was a whole new reality. I turned this reality into light. I got an imaginary USB stick and downloaded the frequency into it. This created a piece of code. I then downloaded it into the biological computer of the lady that I was working on. Once this frequency entered her body, it overrode the old programming of where her son had died in this reality, because that's what I decided. And a new program got downloaded, but this program was a reality where the soul was never killed, the soul never died, and all of her pain disappeared. Something that she'd been suffering with 15, 20 years. How is this possible? We've done this with liver cancer, we've done this with eyesight, we've done this with every single disease you can imagine. It's possible because God is inside of me. God is inside of you. Infinite intelligence runs through everything. So we are creator gods in living form. So the same frequency that created worlds and galaxies and universes and stars and moons and all of this stuff created you and me and everyone else is living through you and me and everyone else. So that same intelligence that has the ability to create holographic realities can create and recreate and co-create in the moment to use it. This might sound strange if you're new to this, but this is how real healing works. For you to be a good healer, a good facilitator of healing, you need to be like an architect, a computer programmer. You need to understand universal mathematics at a geometrical level. You need to understand that we're all code. Nothing more, nothing less, we're code. And this code is what has the ability to change and shift anything. Whether you want to manifest more money, whether you want to create better relationships, whether you want to heal a physical ailment, whether you want to shift something emotionally, whether you want to get rid of some kind of habit, whether it's coffee or pornography or drugs or alcohol or smoking, doesn't matter. Go to our proof page, as I said before. You'll see that we've removed all of this stuff. This is second nature to us, and we teach people how to use this technology. We call it star magic. In fact, we don't actually teach people. What we do is help people remember, because this stuff that's inside of me is inside of you. It just needs to be remembered and woken up. In fact, it's already awake. You just need to tap into it. You know, there's no such thing as a spiritual awakening. The spirit's already awake. It's a fact that society and humans are waking up to this stuff that's always been there. We've just been blindsided and side-swooped and left hooked at the boxing ring. But now we're realizing where the boxing ring is, and we're stepping back in to fight. And once we start fighting, we realize that there never really was a fight. It was always the way that it was. There were just many layers of holographic, illusory bullshit in the way of that diamond spark that resides in our heart, that gives us access to the prime creator, that gives us superpowers, the ability to use telekinesis, to bilocate, to teleport, to heal at distance, to travel in our Merkaba fields. Telepathy, baby. It's where it's at, and we are remembering that we are superhumans in this reality field. There is a creator, and that creator lives in all of us, but it's not some god that we bow down to. It's not some archetypal figure that we hand our power over to. We are the power, man. We don't need anything or anyone else. It's all inside of us. We just got to go deep into our hearts and remember the truth and stop thinking externally, because that external world is going to get us lost in a labyrinth of BS. But when you're brave enough to take that deep dive into your heart, you're going to uncover magic, wisdom, knowledge, and you will wake up your superhuman self. You will activate your superhuman potential big time, and then you can really start to enjoy this human game, because it is a game, but when you don't know the rules, it's hard to play. And I'm sharing with some of them with you now. Go on a journey of self-discovery. Do your own research. I don't expect you to believe a single word that comes out of my mouth. Don't believe a word that comes out of anyone's mouth. Do your own research. Feel into this information. And I guarantee you, it will open up a whole new universe. One that you love. Wherever you are on this magical planet, beautiful soul, go out and love your sisters and your brothers fiercely and ferociously. Hug them tightly and never, ever, ever be the first to let go. Remember to check out our website. You can get access right now, 7 days for free to infinity, where you get access to all of our mystery school teachings, hundreds of meditations, light language transmissions, light codes to recode your DNA, activate your third eye, switch on your light body, and more. Nutrition, intermittent fasting. There are private Telegram groups so you can connect with beautiful souls just like you on the same mission. There's breathwork, cosmic yoga, everything you need to be a high vibrational being. So go and check out Infinity. Get 7 days free right now to all of these tools at starmagichealing.org. Get out into the world, speak your truth, shine your light. Don't give an F-U-C-K about anything. This is your world. This is your reality. Create it. Love it. Live in it, thrive in it, and unify with your sisters and brothers, because we are a family. Yes, we are. Oh, yes, we are. I'll see you again real soon, beautiful soul. One love, one heart, one human family. Peace out.